Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Jesse and I'm the founder and grandmaster of MMA, Mexican martial arts. The other day, I was watching the top 20 knockouts in UFC history, uploaded by the UFC itself. And honestly, I was inspired. Not because the list was good, the list was garbage, but it inspired me to make my own list. So today, I'm gonna be sharing with you the top 20 knockouts in UFC history. And Dana White, I would appreciate it if you would change the name of your video because it's clickbait. After countless hours of research, I finally found the real top 20 knockouts in UFC history. And it turns out that the UFC's list wasn't completely worthless. From their top 20 list, 5 of them actually made my top 20 list. That's a lot better than I expected from them. Keep in mind that this is only for UFC knockouts, but I'm gonna be making other ones in the future for like Bellator, boxing, the streets, Mexican martial arts, etc. Also, I decided to base my list on one important factor. In order for the knockout to impress me, it has to be a one-hit knockout. It could be a single punch, elbow, kick, whatever, but when you start getting into like combos, ground and pound and stuff like that, that's sloppy. If you had to punch some fool like 8 times to knock him out, then you didn't do it right and you don't deserve to be on my list. You might live up to the UFC standards, but not mine. Mark Hunt versus Stephen Struve. This one barely made my list because he threw that punch right there that was kind of like a setup punch. Very close to being a 1-2, but I let it slide because Stephen Struve is 7 feet tall. And I don't like tall fools. I said it. Marilena says that her ex was tall, dark, and handsome. And as you can see, I'm only 2 out of 3. And then she wonders why I'm insecure. Love hurts. Mark Hunt versus Frank Mir. I both love and hate this one. I love it because the punch was effortless. Mark Hunt barely touched that fool and he went down. But that's also why I hate it. It looks fake.
It looks fake to me.
I keep watching it over and over, and I can't believe how that fool went down with such a soft punch. It even looks like Mark Hunt tried to catch him and pick him back up, like the fight wasn't supposed to be over yet. Was it all rehearsed? Did Frank Mir throw the fight for financial gain?
Because a year from now, when you're kicking it in the Caribbean, you're gonna say to yourself, Marcellus Wallace was right.
I had no problem with that, Mr. Wallace.
Spencer Fisher versus Matt Winman. This one reminds me of when you're playing a video game and you press the wrong button and start taunting, and then the other fool takes advantage and knocks you out. And it didn't even have to go down like that. But for some reason, the moment Spencer Fisher went airborne with the knee, Matt Winman lowered himself and got into the perfect position to get kneed in the dome. It's as if it was more important to Matt Winman to make it onto my list than to win the fight. And I can't blame him. Tank Abbott versus Steve NELMARK. It's not easy to kill somebody and get away with it. It's possible, but it's not easy. Tank Abbott bodied this fool on live TV, and there were absolutely no repercussions. I don't know what was worse, the punch to the ear or the throw to the ground, or the TMZ interview.
I will fight any woman on this earth for free.
Mark Hunt versus Roy Nelson.
It's been solid for a couple of years now. Oh, that's it! Oh my! And it's all over!
I don't know what it is about these fools' punches. They never even look like they hurt. Mark Hunt should be thrilled that he made it onto the list 3 times. But he should also be embarrassed because they're all in the bottom 5. James Irvin versus Terry Martin. I'm starting to notice a trend with flying knees. Every single time someone attempts a flying knee, the other fool puts his head down. Whether it's just a horrible reflex or they actually try to counter with a takedown, it doesn't make any sense. They should just get out of the way. And if you don't have the option to get away, then don't go low. Go high. You can also use the flying knee yourself to place your opponent into a favorable position. Rich Franklin versus Nate QUARRY.
Again on the bike. Ouch.
And down goes QUARRY.
Cold.
This one is hard to watch. Not because of the knockout, but because Nate QUARRY is currently fighting the UFC to have the footage taken down. He even filed a lawsuit.
The lawsuit really is about fairness in the marketplace.
But I can't blame him. We all have things on the internet that we're not proud of. Oh, Marilena. Oh, Marilena. Oh. Kung Lee versus Rich Franklin. The way that Kung Lee took that kick and responded immediately is straight up savage. Most people would take a moment to react to the pain and even retreat, but that fool didn't miss a beat. He responded much faster than Rich Franklin expected and caught that fool slipping. But it looks trippy because he threw a hard punch in one direction and that fool fell in the other direction. It's kind of like when I'm trying to demonstrate with Flaco and he doesn't know how to react. Hey fool, you need to make a face like it hurts.
Doesn't hurt though.
Well, if I did it for reals, you would die, fools, for the camera. Brad Kohler versus Steve Judson.
Kohler does have great speed and good lateral movement. Oh my goodness!
This is one of the best examples of non-telegraphic movement that I've ever seen in my life. Brad Kohler didn't even have his hands up, but because he went from A to B, point of origin, to that fool's dome, it was lights out. People think that if they pull the arm back, they'll get more power, but it also makes it very obvious what they're doing. To learn more about telegraphing, watch Michael Jai White talk about it like if it was his idea and not Bruce Lee's. That fool's a biter and a hater.
Bruce Lee would be no match for
me.
The person
You're saying you could beat Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee is 132 pounds. I outweigh him by 100 pounds.
Melvin Guillard versus Rick Davis. Speaking of Bruce Lee, in this clip, we see Melvin Guillard employ one of the methods that the GOAT talked about very often. Attacking the moment that your opponent attacks, because when they throw something out there, they leave you a window. And a lot of people have the terrible habit of dropping their arms when they kick, which Melvin capitalized on right here. Hey, listen, stop dropping your hands when you kick. Just work on your balance. Don't be a cheater. Stay tuned for part 2 of the top 20 knockouts in UFC history. And let me know in the comment section below who you think made the top 10. Thank you for watching Mexican Martial Arts. Appreciate it. Good looking out. Late.